We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports? I hope that all of you are having a good day, because I know that we are as well. Trying to work on my grammar, as my lovely wife, Megan, pointed out to me. How y'all doing? Come on, man. How y'all doing? We hope that you're making it a good day. We know that we are as well. Massive show in store for you here tonight. As you have been asking for his appearance, Memphis Spence will be here at 7:30 to talk to us. We'll talk a little LSU, maybe. We'll see. Probably. More than likely, we always do. We'll go around college football. As in 3 weeks, we'll get our first CFP poll. And we're halfway through the year. What does Memphis Spence think about what has gone on in college football halfway through the season? A full Auburn breakdown. So today I sent out a couple of tweets in reference to the film breakdown of our good friends. Not really, I guess. Over there at WarEagle at Auburn. I will tell you that they are a very physical bunch. But Mr. Blake, they can't throw the ball. I know, I say it too. They can't. They're 119th in the country in passing yards or passing offense. But LSU's defense is 119th in the country in passing defense. They are identical. Something has to give. We'll talk about our full Auburn breakdown, what we saw in the film, what I do believe LSU can accomplish this weekend in Death Valley. Saturday night in the boot. Big recruiting weekend. Gonna have a lot of recruits on campus. Gonna have a lot of people on campus. It's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be an absolutely fun time, and we are here for it. We'll go by the numbers. So we didn't do this last week because, and like I said, I didn't think it was good for us to go by the numbers last week after coming off that loss against Ole Miss, because I did not want to continue to pound on a unit. Pause. Did not want to continue to pound on a unit that had been taking a lot of flack from myself included, so we didn't do it. And I regretted it. I regret every minute of it. Every single morning I wake up, I say to myself, you should have done this. You should have done it. You do it every football season. You should have done it. Okay. So we'll go back by the numbers. Very interesting. Now, I am not a stats and analytical guy, but what I do know is that I always trust what my eyes tell me, but there is something to be said in reference to how good teams are doing across the country when it comes to the statistics. Week 7. So if you missed our week 6 preview or recap, just go on over to Ruffino and Joe show. We didn't have a lot of time because usually on Mondays when we have Carter, we're not able to get to many things. And because we're always talking about LSU. This topic, that topic continues to come up, which I love every single second of it, not complaining whatsoever. And we didn't get to week 6. We will get to week 7. And again, you start getting to a place where you might ask yourself the question, hey, man, we've had a couple of separation Saturdays, if you will, but not ultimate separation Saturdays. I'm looking forward to this weekend. So we'll preface that and we will preview that as well. Big game in Seattle. Michael Penix, you know I'm a homer for Michael Penix, but I don't think it matters, though, because they are 102nd in the country in rushing offense. And Oregon is not the team that you want to see right now, buddy. I promise you that. I feel like this week I'm Gordon Bombay, man. Quack, 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 quack. Go Ducks! Somebody clip that and send that to co-host Joe. I got to be careful about saying the Flying V because I said that on, speaking of Rufino and Joe Show, I said that on Flying V in the comments. They got their minds all in the gutter. See, this is what happens when you allow Gen Zs to have a cell phone. They didn't know what the Flying V was. They thought it was some sexual reference. Like, come on, man. Like, read a book. In this case, watch an all-time classic. Guys, I got to tell you, I've never watched hockey really a day in my life. I went to a Predators game one time. That was pretty cool, believe it or not, out there in Smashville. But I had no idea what was going on. I'm asking the girl that I'm hanging out with at the time, smoking. We've talked about Nashville girlfriend before on the show. Smoking. Tennessee women. She wore a cowboy hat and a cowboy buckle. I told y'all that. I knew way down yonder in the Chattahoochee, I knew something wasn't going to right. It wasn't going to work. Man, I barely got out there alive. Uber was just a thing. I Ubered my Cajun ass up out of there, man. Tennessee women. All look like Chris Stapleton. No, I'm just joking. Just joking. All right. Got a lot to get into. Hugh Freeze, man. I don't like the rat poison Hugh Freeze is giving LSU. Talk some shit, Hugh. Just because you found the Lord, which I love that you found the Lord. Again, or maybe you did. I don't know what you did. I have no idea what you did. However, Hugh, you need to stop with the Rudy Poo. Stop with the Rudy Poo, Hugh. Talk some stuff. All right. Let's get rolling. Let's get started. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all of those social media groups. Share to all of those social media pages. If you're listening to us on YouTube, like, subscribe, and notification bell. Wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. And if you're watching us on Fubo TV, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's talk about our good friends over at betonline.ag. Our good friend Tyler Alexander over at eXp Realty. My man's killing it. My man Tyler is killing it. Look, man, if you need to sell your home in the local Baton Rouge, Hammond, Ponchatoula, South, if you need to sell your home, this dude literally is the second best realtor in the state. Stop. You looking. I know what your wife's doing. She wants a new house for Christmas. Well, go get it for her. Don't be a Rudy Poo. You better call Tyler Alexander, though, so that he can put you in that home. Him and his team over at eXp Realties are changing the game every single day. So call them. Let them know that Blake sent you on by. All right. So about our good friends at BetOnline, Tyler Alexander. We break down Auburn by the numbers. Memphis Spence, how many times did y'all comment in the show about bring back Memphis? And next thing I know, I'm texting Memphis like, hey, man, are you okay? You alive? And he sends back, hey, man, I'm like bungee jumping or something. I don't know what he was doing. He said this man came on here and texted me, said he was bungee jumping. See? Try to tell y'all. We're back next. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler. He'll shoot you straight.
We're back. Texas, you blew it. Texas, you blew it. You let Dylan Gabriel, 5'11", Dylan Gabriel, walk into the Cotton Bowl, funnel cake it all, and run all over you. By the way, I have an interesting take that I will say tomorrow on Ruffino and Joe show. I know that Oklahoma just beat Texas. I get it. And I know that that defense made some really good stuff, or really good stops, especially down there at the goal line. But teams with the inability to run the football late in the season normally lose a game that they're not supposed to. You know how I know that? As Texas, they're one of them. They lost to Kansas in the first year of Sark. Ask LSU I'm not even going to bring up Troy. I'm not going to do it. I refuse to do it. I refuse to do it. All right. Let's get into it. So today, yes. Okay. We just got so much going on. Okay. Yes. Everybody wants Memphis back. Here's Stephen Fry. Memphis best not trust that bungee cord. I don't know if that's what he was doing. He told me something. I'm like, my man's living his best life. Okay. Y'all asked me. We've been doing it for the last 2 months. Let's do it now. Where are you watching the show from today? Put it inside the comments. Next Monday, listen up. Next Monday, we are going to make an announcement about where you're located. Okay? And I'm just going to wait till Monday. Tell us where you're located. Where are you watching the show from? We appreciate it. Ringgold, Louisiana. West Monroe is in the building. Aaron Davis. See, 318, man. Don says he's in Hattiesburg, the 601 via Morgan City. You got to love it. The Woodlands, Texas. That's big money out there. That's big money. That's old money. That's where half of the Texas recruiting class comes from, right there. The Woodlands. He tell me I'm lying. Memphis, Tennessee. No, not Memphis Spence. Rayville, Louisiana. Okay. We do have some people in the building all over the place. 318-3757, Williamsburg, Virginia. It's good to see where all these LSU fans are, man, where you're watching the show from. And y'all comment on these clip videos. Blake, I'm in the 318, biatch. I mean, this little kid the other day called me a biatch. I thought he was, what's your boy's name from Malibu's Most Wanted? Biatch. Say it again. Think Tupac. Action. We got to talk Auburn. Okay. So today, I broke down a lot more of the Auburn film, specifically a lot of the Georgia Auburn film when it came to basically what I thought I knew, I kind of didn't. Let me explain. We will go by the numbers in just a minute. This team is very physical, man. They are very, very, very physical. So what happened 2 weeks ago was everybody came out questioning Georgia because, oh, man, they only beat Auburn by 7. Shit. No, what had happened was Auburn got some dudes on defense that are going to fly around to the ball. They're going to tackle well in space, and they are not going to make mistakes. They're not going to. Now, with that being said, how does the best offense in the SEC capitalize? You're going to have to continue to be physical and run the ball on them, even though, statistically speaking, they've been pretty dominant. They've been really dominant when it comes to protecting the run or stopping the run. LSU offensively, I said this last night, where they're going to be able to, in my opinion, capitalize, be yourself in the air. Continue to let Jaden Daniels go off. Continue to let Jaden go off. Hold on one second. If you continue to allow him to do that and force the ball down the field, get guys like Malik Neighbors over the middle, it's going to bode well for you this week. Do not try to go into this game running the ball right at him. It's not going to work. You know how I know? Georgia. You know how I know? Cal. You know how I know? A&M. And I'm not saying Georgia's better than you offensively. They're not. I am not saying that Cal is even close to the same stratosphere as you offensively. They're not. They're damn near dead last. You're in the top 3 in almost every statistical category. But you're going to have to let Jaden continue to be him. You can't do what you did last week against Missouri. See, last week at this time, I was saying and asking every guest, do you slow the game down by running the ball more? That's exactly what LSU did. Their defensive game plan, in their game plan meeting, Kelly, the offense and defensive staff, Kelly went up to all of them and said, hey, listen, we're going to take the air out of the ball this week a little bit. We're going to try to keep Jaden between 20 to 25 passing attempts, and we're going to let him run the football to try to bleed out more of this clock so we give our defense the chance. Don't do that this week. Quick game, over the middle, screens, pop passes, all the stuff that you've been doing to dominate teams like Missouri and Ole Miss and all these other teams that you did offensively. Because once you start doing that aggressive defense up front is going to start getting a little winded. They're going to start breaking tackles because they're having to make a lot of tackles out in space. And then there's going to be a guy who leads the country in touchdowns, I might add, from a receiving touchdown standpoint. And Brian Thomas, he's going to go down there on that post route looking like Plexico Burress, like he did last week. And he's going to get in the end zone. And you're going to say, oh, look at Jane taking another shot deep. Loosen them up by hitting shots early. That's what you're going to have to do. Another thing, I know that Auburn's offensive line has not looked good. They kind of haven't. But you know what? They're going to be balls to the wall 24/7. Like a new kid that just got a PlayStation and the first game that he opened was Grand Theft Auto. He's going to get in that Ferrari and he's going to drive like a bat out of hell, not knowing what to do. They do not play a lot of times assignment correct. But what they will do is they will go to the whistle all night long. Let me see that thong, Cisco style. If you do not have your lunch pail ready on the offense and defensive line, you're not going to lose. I'm not saying you're going to lose. But Georgia found themselves in a situation where Brock Bowers had to say, hey, man, maybe you should put my name in the Heisman discussion, even though I don't believe that his name should be in there. He's a tight end. And Brian Thomas should have more recognition, in my opinion. Malik Neighbors more than him. I digress. But don't walk into this game. Don't just maneuver your little way through this game and say to yourself, hey, man, we're going to blow them out. Now, do you have that ability? Absolutely. Because they can't score. They can't score. But what you cannot do is allow a team like Auburn to gain confidence and let them hang around. And you know what else? They're coming off a bye week. Now, tomorrow, we'll give you the stat. I'm going to leave you with what they call a cliffhanger. Hugh Freeze coming off of bye weeks, man, Ask Alabama how that feels. Be careful. They don't have the talent that you do. I don't believe that they have the coaching staff that you do. Look, their DC and Ron Roberts was the head coach at Southeastern here in Hammond. I like Ron. I don't have an issue with him, even though I think that he's extremely rough around the edges. I don't dislike Ron whatsoever. Defensively, he's got that unit playing. But the defense that he always runs has holes in it. This is what you're going to see. If he runs the base stuff, guys, it's Dave Aranda. It's Dave Aranda. Ron Roberts was the mentor of, guess who? Just take a wild guess. That's right, you got it. Dave Aranda. Now, when Ron was at Southeastern, he used to do coaching clinics around here. He would teach guys about defense, what he thinks about defense. You know what the number one thing he always said? Be aggressive. Be aggressive. What's the status of Charles Turner? Are there some things that a veteran DC like Ron Roberts will do to be able to capitalize on potentially a true freshman at center, I might add, who I think is, guys, on that long 35-yard run from Jane Daniels in the score, that play was specifically made, in my opinion, by DJ Chester. Now, Blake, Jane Daniels. I'm not saying Jane Daniels. You know what I'm talking. The guy that sealed the block to get that space was made by DJ Chester. The bottom line that I say to you tonight, now we'll do our keys to victory on Thursday. Every single game that I watch, they are going to play balls to the wall. They are going to be physical. Their safety play at Auburn is really good. They gave Georgia, which, by the way, everybody keeps telling me that Carson Beck is no good. What are you watching? Like, please tell me what in the Sam Hill games you're watching. Because Carson Beck, if I'm not mistaken, as of 2:37 Central Standard Time, was a top 3 quarterback in the SEC right now, statistically. And all they did all night long was come after him over and over and over again. Here's the benefit. They can't do that to Jaden. Because if you don't get home and you leave just a little bit of a crease, this is going to happen. Over and over and over again, Jane Daniels is going to light your ass up. Okay, you Tigers, Tigers. Okay. You get what I'm saying. I had that thought after watching the film on Auburn. The statistics backed it up. Now, I know what you're going to say. Blake, they can't throw the ball. They can't. They are anemic throwing the football. But you know what's interesting? Auburn's passing offense is ranked 119th in the country. You know what LSU's defensive passing yards allowed ranks? 119. It's identical. You want to hear something even more funny? Your offense, your scoring offense is 5th. Auburn's scoring defense is 25th. Your rushing offense, which, listen, has been electric, boogie, woogie, woogie. You know you see it. It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. They're in the top 50 in rushing defense when you're in the top 15 in rushing offense. Here's the difference. Your passing offense and their secondary, their corners, it's Cisco type all night long. Going to have to let Jaden win you this one. And I think he could potentially have a big game. I really do. Another big game. Another co-offensive player of the week in the SEC. Here's some other statistics that I thought that really stood out. Auburn's third down offense is ranked, so conversion rate, third down offense, 105. LSU's third down defense, 109. So in all of these statistics, something's going to have to give. Their bad goes on your bad. Your good goes on what they would determine they're good, meaning their front seven, their safeties, that's the best part of their team. Without their running backs, another example, third down defense, 38th, Auburn. LSU is third in the country, 56%. They're probably worried about that one. But here's what gets me. Y'all ready? Total defense, 25th, LSU 3. We talked about that. Here's what gets me. Total offense for Auburn is ranked 88th. LSU total defense is 121. So again, their absolute worst and your absolute worst faces head-on square, mano a mano. Like Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed and Rocky 3. You told me everything you know, Apollo. Not everything. Ho, ho, ho. You looking good, Stallion. You looking good. Do not take them lightly. I cannot envision you losing. I don't think that you're losing. I just can't picture it. One thing I know is that this game is always close. It was close a year ago. Jane had 80 passing yards. It's not going to happen again. But they're coming off a bye week with a head coach that's known to do some chaotic stuff offensively. And if they start scoring some touchdowns early, you're going to feel some type of way. You will. I will too. Your defense against Missouri in the last 3 quarters gave up 17 points. So have you found something? Because let me just preface this. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. And I'm going to get tattooed behind this. Absolutely tattooed. If you can and have found something defensively in 3 weeks, it's hashtag for the West. You got a long, long way to go, though. You're going to have to show in the next 2 weeks, which against inferior opponents, at least inferior offenses, I should say, not opponents. If you can't stop Army, if you have issues stopping Army, if you have issues stopping Auburn, I don't know, man. That's why they play the game. It's why they play the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You play to win the game. Spectrum Wellcare says BK will have this team focused. I have no doubt. I have no doubt about that. But don't underestimate them. I just got done talking about Rocky and making a little joke. They are Rocky Balboa and Rocky 1. They can't win, right? Like they can't win. They're on the bed with Adrian saying, I can't win, Adrian, but I could go the distance. And I'm telling you, they got some dudes out the – Donovan Kaufman's a kid from Louisiana safety. If you don't have your head on the swivel, he is going to knock your block off. I saw him do it to Brock Bowers once. Now, he got a little banged up because Brock Bowers is a tank. He's a Megatron. What do you call those things? Schwarzenegger was one of them. A Terminator. He's a Terminator running down the field. He's the Georgia version of Bobby Boucher. Don't let him hang around with you. Don't let him hang around with you. Penn Jones, I agree with this. It says Auburn gets very little pass rush. I agree. But my goodness to gracious, great balls of fire, can they stop the run? They are good at stopping the run. They're in the top 50 at stopping the run, man. They're in the top 50. Georgia, excuse me. Are we going to sit here and act like Georgia's O-line sucks? Like, y'all going to sit here and say Georgia O-line stinks? Because they got 3 first-round dudes on that O-line. They don't suck. And they couldn't find a running game. Now, they had a little walk-on white kid having to get some reps at running back because Georgia's so beat up. That man looks like speaking of Bobby Boucher, he looks like the towel boy from Michigan off the water boy. The Wolverines used their towel boy this week. Dude runs the slant and gets killed. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Don't take them lightly. You're not going to lose. I have no fear of you losing. I do have fear of you doing something you're not supposed to. All right. Talk about our good friends. He's back. I went a little long on that one. Memphis Spence next.
By the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Whether you've been injured in an accident, you're preparing for a future with your estate planning, you're getting ready to close in on a real estate deal, or you're about to welcome a new addition through adoption into your family, or you're facing criminal charges, you need very experienced attorneys, and that is what the Drake Williams Law Firm will be able to do for you in navigating the legal system. The door to their cozy office in historic downtown Ponchatoula has been open since 1981. They have helped thousands and thousands of Louisiana families and individuals win cases, close on real estate deals, and regain that peace of mind. Their lawyers over at the Drake Williams Law Firm, Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, are very determined, compassionate, and dedicated to their craft. It's the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by.
Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with a great neighbor. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with a great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. You was really bungee jumping?
Ziplining.
Ziplining.
I was literally ziplining. You know, I just got back from ziplining when you called me, or you text me. I was like, Plus, I wasn't in the country at the time either.
It's football season. We don't need you ziplining. We need you to be protected at all times.
I know. But my wife, man, my wife's been taking me places lately. She's been stealing me for a while.
Oh,
you know, she's been taking me places. You know. Speaking of taking places, man, what about Jaden Daniels? I don't want to see any more Jaden Daniels hating on my timeline. Stop it.
All right, well, let's start there. All right, Memphis Spence, you've been asking for him to return here. He is the man, the myth, the legend himself. All right, let's start there. Does he deserve to be in the Heisman consideration? I know people get upset when you say, well, he's got 2 losses.
I have him in it. I mean, I don't have a Heisman vote. I do have a Maxwell vote. So I still have him on my card. Yeah. Still have him on my card. So and there are a lot of winners of the Heisman and the Maxwell that had 3 losses. You know, some even 4. So I think it's an individual award. Now there are some voters that actually believe that the team has to be undefeated or 1 loss or playing for a championship. in order to be in that conversation. I'm not one of them. I'm really looking at that as an individual award, and I believe he can win it without LSU playing for a national championship.
You know, this time in his season that he won the Heisman Trophy, Tim Tebow had 2 losses.
Exactly. Lamar Jackson had 3.
Lamar Jackson had 3.
So but he was balling out.
LSU to end his season,
Right.
and a guy by the name of Devin White said, "Not so fast, my friend, Lee Corso style."
Exactly. So I still believe that that's definitely winnable for Jaden at this point.
Yeah, the only bad thing, Spence, he's gonna have to just win out. Unfortunately, I think. Unfortunately, or beat Bama.
He got to beat Bama. Got to beat Bama. Got to beat Auburn. Got to beat Bama. I mean, there's no other path to that. You got to, if he beat Bama again.
Back-to-back years.
I don't see how, because
you know what's crazy saying this? And I think LSU's got a lot of questions they have to answer between now and then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But you know what's interesting about that? You start putting him into a realm and a category of LSU athletes that I don't think people thought a year ago at this time that they would put him in there. Like, I
start looking around. Joe Burrow records are right there with his, little bit.
I don't think he can touch the touchdown record. I don't think he gets passing yards. But at worst, I still believe, and I'm of the opinion, if he quit right now, I'd put him at 2.
Probably. Pretty close. I mean, total yards, man. What he's doing on the ground.
It's insane.
Nothing like it. He was doing something like that at Arizona State, too. But he's going to have to – Auburn's going to be a very interesting component.
I agree. I don't think people realize, Spence. So let's talk about this game for LSU and Auburn. You know what? Listen, I don't think Auburn can come into Baton Rouge and win. I don't. I just don't see a world where that happens. Spence, I turned on that Georgia film today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, everybody's like, oh, Georgia played down. Georgia was punching. Bullshit, they were.
No, Auburn's that good. As a matter of fact, Auburn's one of those teams. Auburn reminds me of an old Steelers team that just bends and doesn't break, especially in the red zone. Speaking of which,
one of the
in
top
the red zone
there, by the way,
they are gravy in the red zone.
Yep.
I think honestly, and somebody can look this up, I don't think they've given up a passing touchdown in the red zone this year. That's how good they are in the red zone. I think they've given up like maybe 5 or 6 rushing touchdowns. I don't think they've given up a passing touchdown. They're locked down when it gets to the red zone, which means Jaden's legs are going to have to take LSU into the end zone when you get down there. It's either that or if they can bust some open. But Auburn doesn't really give up. They don't really give up a whole lot of big plays either. Georgia found that out.
And found it out. I mean, the biggest play that they gave up all year was the Evan Stewart post touchdown, but that was it. Yeah. And he had to make an unreal catch. Like, he was covered like a blanket during snow season. I mean, the dude was double covered and still made the catch. So to your point, they were still there to make the play.
That defense hasn't given up 30 points yet. And LSU's had to score 30 to win these games. So something's going to – I was listening to you. Something's going to have to give. The things that LSU does the best, they also do the best. The things that LSU does the worst, they're terrible at it. And you're just like, well, what's going to happen here? This team, win or lose, hasn't really given up 30 points to anybody. Yeah. They didn't give up 30 points to Georgia, A&M. They don't give up 30 points. LSU needs 30 points to win this game. And I'm just like, well, I don't know what's going to happen here. Jaden Daniels' feet are probably going to be the answer in the red zone because they haven't given up a touchdown passing. I'm like, well, as a matter of fact, if Jaden throws a couple of touchdowns in the red zone, that's Heisman type stuff. Because this defense they don't give up touchdowns in the red zone. So look for that.
You know what else is interesting? This is a comparison. Now, I'm going to talk about this at length tomorrow. I'll give another cliff note.
Mhm.
Auburn is LSU from a year ago without the dynamic quarterback with his legs.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
That
Like
sounds like
if they had
because they can't score.
they can't and listen, you had if they had Jaden Daniels from last year's Jaden Daniels on this team, I wouldn't feel good.
No.
But look, I don't want to come out here and run around and act like a Debbie Downer. I think LSU wins by more than 2 scores easily, personally, because I think that offensively they can extend it late. I think that Jaden can get you a late touchdown. But I'm talking Memphis 10-13. I'm thinking 13 points at max, right? Like I'm talking at max that you get there because I think this defense can be that good. So we'll see. Let me ask
if this game is played under 30, man.
I don't keep them around. You got to come out swinging.
Can't give up any early touchdowns either because
Rocky 2. Apollo came out that thing mad. You know when them old men start doing the circles right before they start punching? You know what I'm talking about? Like this?
Right.
You got to be that old man with black Nike, black G Nikes. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. That's a man. This matchup. Honestly, I don't feel comfortable about it because this is the quintessential game. See, I'm trying to trust Matt House. I'm trying. I'm trying. I know he can develop talent, right? I saw what he did at Kentucky with Josh Allen. Took a 2-star guy, made him an NFL All-Star. I get it. He can develop linebackers. I even voted for him in the Bronco Nagurski Award when he was over there. He can develop linebackers. He's just not using them in his schemes. And if he does, he goes away from it, right? And I'm just like, well, what? You develop these fantastic NFL linebackers, and then you don't drop them back in coverage? This is your strongest. This is the strongest part of this defense. The minute you start dropping those guys back in coverage, start picking off the ball. They start knocking it down. I'm like, okay, well, you can play, Tampa 2 or cover 2 with the linebackers that you have because your linebackers.
Thank you. Memphis, I screamed on this show in the postgame that it's Tampa 2. I had somebody from the staff say, that's not Tampa 2. I'm like, well, you're going to have to tell the corners because that's exactly what they ran.
Exactly. Yes. You can do that. And that's the thing. Like, if you have that personnel, you can do that. You can even – I was actually in a chat talking about this. I was like, normally you don't blitz out of Tampa 2, maybe 10%, especially in the NFL. In college, you can do that. Send if your corners can't cover, and some of these corners don't look DBU-ish this year, but if they can't cover, they can get home. Send them on the blitz. Put your linebacker, put your strong suit, put Perkins back there in coverage. Especially on guys like Luther Burden. Put that. Everybody's looking for that matchup anyway. Put him in coverage. And let him let's see those skills.
Because PFF, to your point, PFF did a thing because people were like, why are you putting the edge rusher? You know that Harold Perkins versus Luther Burden did not win a rep.
My point exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's the type of
crazy, Memphis. People thought that thing was crazy, and then he covered him, and then on the trail route, he picked it off. So people think it's dumb, but he picked it off when it mattered.
And I watched Matt House do that with when Matt House was at Kentucky. He took this 2-star dude, and I was sitting there looking at him. I was like, "What's he do?" In his senior year, he taught him. Well, actually, he taught him in his junior year, but it really came out his senior year. He dropped back 140 times, and we were like, "Well, we know he can get home. We know he can rush the quarterback. This dude's playing coverage at 6'5". What's that in the NFL? Goes in the first round. He can develop a player. I'm just wondering, okay, you got this gold over here. You got these linebackers that you've taught how to cover. Why aren't you running Tampa 2? Those dudes are perfect for it.
And what's so wild, Memphis, too, what's so wild is that Perkins was dead last in the SEC in coverage until they put him in zone.
There you go. Right.
Like I mean, man-to-man coverage. He's the worst defender in the SEC. All right.
Yeah.
I do want to get out to Oregon and Washington with you. The number one offense in the country versus the number 2 offense in the country. Number 1 Washington, number 2 Oregon. Memphis.
Oregon has a better defense.
I see a lot of people saying Washington in a blowout, and I'm thinking to myself,
Oregon has a better defense.
I agree.
I haven't seen any. I mean, the season's still young, but what that Oregon defense did to Shedeur, nobody else has got close. And that guy can read defenses. He just didn't see. Well, he doesn't have any help up front. That offensive line is shaky at best, but he's still really good pre-snap, and he still didn't see sometimes where that blitz was coming from. And I was like, man, that's monster. Penix is going to have, for the first time this year, Penix is going to have some issues. He's going to have disguised defenses coming at him. I don't know. Penix is good. I don't know if he's as good as Shedeur at pre-snap. He's probably better at his delivery, footwork, but I don't know if he's better pre-snap. When these blitzes come for Penix, he might get caught up this time. And I don't see – I think Oregon walks into Washington and comes out with a win. I don't have any reason why that defense wouldn't show up then if it showed up against all the rest of these squads. They're shutting people down and taking names. And I think that. Now, that being said, Bo Nix, in big games, they haven't turned the ball over much. They haven't. I think they've. Do they have a turnover?
Yeah, they have
1 or 2.
Yeah, I think he has like 3 or 4 picks, something like that. But they don't turn the ball over much.
They don't turn the ball over much, and the big games. That's what Bo Nix used to do. Didn't get sacked a whole lot, but he'd make that critical turnover in crunch time. Now, of course, at Auburn at the time, but he has a better line. I think he might be able to get through. I trust Penix more than Nix at the QB, but everything else smells Oregon to me. If it's more or less like Bo Nix could lose this game for Oregon, but if he doesn't, Oregon's gonna walk into Washington and come out with a win. Then we're gonna be looking around like, well, is this the team out of? Because I don't. USC looks they look like they're going to get dominated every week, but they just keep winning. They keep winning. Games are close. They keep winning. They're going to have to lose before I believe they can lose. Same thing with Georgia. They're going to have to lose before I believe they can use. I know the game against Auburn was close. They're going to have to lose in order for me to believe it.
Now let's go to USC because USC takes on Notre Dame this week, and I got to tell you something. Listen, hey,
I know.
I took Notre Dame in the -2.
I'm not saying you shouldn't. Notre Dame's defense is pretty good. But here's the thing: if you watch Notre Dame against Louisville, we had a SK credentialed at that game, and he came back. He was like, "Yeah, Spence, Notre Dame gets tired in the 4th, especially if you're fast." And I was like, "Yep." USC is just track stars.
They got and Spence. It happened against Ohio State. It happened against Duke. I mean,
if you got fast dudes out there, they'll get tired in the 4th. They're big. The way they try, the way that team's being put together, they're trying to straddle the fence between the Big Ten and the ACC in terms of how they build that team.
I agree.
And that's hard to do. It's hard to build a team big enough to compete in the Big Ten and fast enough to compete in the ACC. It's just it's hard to do. And the teams that they struggle with are those teams. They got those track star wide receivers and quarterbacks that are mobile. And
just do what Saban does. The big dudes that are faster than everybody.
I mean, if you can get them. By the way, Saban's still out here winning games with no quarterback. Like I was saying, it's preseason. Winning games, no quarterback. I've seen him do this before, and I don't know how he does it. I can't tell you how, because every year it's just like, You have no quarterback, and you're winning these football games.
You know why? Because I don't think people are ready, Spence, to admit that this defense might be elite. Like they see Texas gave up 31 to Texas. They don't account for the 90-plus plays. And they're young. They're young.
They're young. They're definitely
two sophomores that say, or a sophomore and a freshman at safety, and they keep getting experience. And look, they played A&M last week, and I'm like, and look, Malachi Moore, we'll see. I think he got hurt. They are laying dudes out. You hear me?
Yeah, I saw some of that over at USF when I was at that game. I was like, man, USF was trying to give it back to them, but
you went to the Bama game against USF.
Yeah, I was there.
Okay,
and I was like, man, this is a slugfest. This was more of a slug because usually USF gets hit and they stay down, but they started popping people too, and I was like, yo, they're hitting out here. Pads are popping. So USF was a little bit more physical than I thought they were, but of course Bama. It's hard to hit. It's hard to hit them in the fourth quarter. You hit them in the first, they get up. You hit them in the second, they get up. You hit them in the third, they start laughing. And all of a sudden, man, do I want to go out there and hit them in the fourth, man? I want to get in the shower, man. I don't want to be out here in the fourth quarter trying to hit these dudes. And they're just big muscles, and it's kind of hard. It's hard to move that line too. A defensive line is no joke.
None. We got a question for you here, Spence, from Bro337 with the 199 super chat. He says, does a 2-loss LSU SEC champ make it in this year? I'm assuming it obviously means the playoff.
They won't be able to unless there's no undefeated team. If there's no undefeated team, then it's an SEC, a 2-loss LSU could make it in. If everybody else has 1 loss and LSU has 2 and they won the SEC, then you have it. Because if you have a couple of undefeated teams and then a 1-loss like Big Ten champ and a 1-loss Big 12 champ, no, it ain't happening. Especially if that Big 12, if it's Oklahoma. Because Oklahoma,
and if Texas goes here in a couple weeks and they stay unscathed and they win the Big 12, they are dying to get Texas into the playoff.
Right.
Could you imagine
one of those two teams? No.
Could you imagine a USC Texas playoff game? ESPN would I can't say it live on air. They would have to change their pants.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's shades of the Rose Bowl in 05. And I mean that they've been trying to get back to that for a long time. They've
been trying to rig stuff. They even tried to give Charlie Strong a couple of calls here and there, and it didn't work. Tom Herman was flipping recruits off during signing day, so they're like, we can't do it with this guy. That was old school Texas, and they haven't been that in a while. But Sark, he's arrived. Texas isn't back yet. Texas ain't back until they can beat Oklahoma. I agree.
But Sark has arrived. I can see what he's doing there, and I'm like, yo, man, you get out here and beat Alabama.
But man, I gotta give it to Venables, dude. I gotta get that deep. Look, I never thought I'd say this. I never really thought Oklahoma can play defense. Hey, man.
Brent has those boys out there flying too. It's beautiful, man. Honestly. There's a lot of beauty in how Oklahoma's winning football games. How Oklahoma's winning and how Oregon's winning. I really like watching those two defenses and them fly around because those defenses are just doing they're fast.
That goal line stop they had, Spence. Oh man, they got dudes, bro.
They got dudes.
Peyton Bowen, the 5-star kid that everybody was making fun of at Notre Dame, Oregon, Oklahoma. Well, he's the reason for a fumble. He was also the reason for the big hit in the end zone that got them to the stop. So
exactly.
You got to win those battles. We got another one for you. I think this is a really, really good question by Brandon Reese. Ask you, says, #Ask Spence, how much longer do you think Fisher, Jimbo, and Pittman will last at their jobs? I think Pittman's cooked. I think Sam's cooked.
Pittman is Jimbo will be there at least another year. Pittman, I've talked to some Arkansas boosters, and it's 50-50 right now, man. There's some that really want him out. Some big money, 7-figure dudes that really want him out. So I don't know. I don't know about Pittman. If you're asking me who goes first, is definitely Pittman. If Pittman's going this year, after this year, maybe. I think Jimbo has at least another year, maybe two, before they decide to go ahead and axe him. If he doesn't do anything next year, then it's really going to get hot.
Because listen, I agree with you, and everybody keeps telling me if he keeps losing, they're going to pull the plug on Jimbo this year. And I'm not going to push back, but somebody writing a $75 million check that none of us on this podcast has to cash. All right?
Right.
And then it's not just that, because I'm throwing this out there. This ain't going to happen, okay?
Yeah.
Say you did want to go get Deion.
Deion's not coming this year.
I know, but just say, like, if you did, like, if you wanted to go buy out Deion, if you want to go buy out a dude that can get you there, you're going to have to spend another $30 million in his buyout at minimum.
Easily.
So you're talking about $100 million tied into a coach. Oh, by the way, he doesn't even have a salary yet. Okay? Right. He doesn't have a staff. Oh, by the way, you want him to come and change things. We just gave $10 million in an NIL fund that got popped by the IRS.
Yeah,
so they are.
I don't think Deion's going anywhere, though. I don't think Deion's going anywhere for about 3 years.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you wanted to go get, I use Deion. That's probably a bad way of looking at it, because he's not going anywhere. But I'm just talking about the most prolific coach you could realistically go get. Like, at the end of next year, when Shedeur goes to the league, Travis Hunter goes to the league, what's to say that he doesn't?
He might. Here's the other thing, though, and somebody was talking to me about Dabo in College Station, and I was like, would Dabo ever leave Clemson for College Station? I mean, is that possible? But somebody, those boosters, those A&M boosters said, yeah, we got the money to do that. And I'm like, oh, I've got to see that.
Well, that'd be interesting. Let me tell you why. Dabo hates the portal. Hates it.
Right.
You know what A&M does better than anybody? Spend money in NIL to go get high school kids that he really needs. Yeah,
they do. They don't use the portal as much as some other teams. Seriously, they use that NIL to rope them in and develop them, and that's what they've been doing. And that, honestly, I really thought Jimbo was going to have more success than he's had up to this point. I really did.
You know why? Because I never trust a man that wears a Velcro hat. That's why I don't trust Matt Campbell. Spence, I think Matt Campbell deserves to be fired too. How do you wear a hat like that? And then everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know. I took Oklahoma State last week. I took Oklahoma State to win outright last week. And I'm like, they were like, Blake, why are you doing that? I'm like, listen, it's coming up in October. He's got a mullet. He's got a Halloween costume already. There's things in college football that you just got to bet against. Matt Campbell, I bet against every week. I know I'm going to win.
Velcro hat.
Don't call your hat like that. Be a man. All right, Memphis Spence gets. All right, last one for you.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you about Georgia. Three-peat? I think, listen, I said this last year, and it almost happened, and then until J.J. McCarthy took a whole dump on the 50-yard line.
Right.
I think that we are on a collision course, and I feel like we've been on a collision course. Georgia and Michigan again. I feel it. I don't think Ohio State can't beat Michigan right now. You put them in Council Bluffs right now, and y'all tee it up. Michigan's going to whip that ass. Okay?
Right.
I feel like we're on a collision course. I really, really do.
I'm trying to figure out, like, who. I'm going to find out a little bit more about Oregon this weekend, because if Oregon shuts down Washington, Oregon versus Georgia might be that game. I love Michigan. I love what they're doing. Michigan's been getting out of games early. They haven't even played a full game yet. They haven't had to.
They hadn't had to.
So they're.
But you know what?
Ryan Day.
I think about
Ryan Day loses this game.
You know, I think about a coach that you know really well, like really, really, you personally know really well, and Mike Norvell, and people thinking him going to the playoffs, and I'm thinking, hey, dog, let me give an example. I know that they got serious dudes on that defense.
They do.
Auburn statistically is better than them, as an example. Like, there have been times, not everybody remembers LSU, Boston College, Clemson started smacking up on them a little bit up front. And by the way, Memphis, they can't run the ball. They cannot run the ball right now
at all.
So I think that they're in the close to the hundreds in the run game. All right.
Yeah.
So, hey, now, I promise you, you think Michigan can't go out? Okay, Keon Coleman, I got it. Wilson, I got it.
Michigan's built to kill a team like Florida State right now. I mean, that's what they would do. And I don't look, if Norvell gets to the playoffs, fantastic. Good for him. I don't think it's happening, but good for him if it does. But the minute he gets there and the minute he sees like a Georgia or Michigan, that's curtains. It's curtains. He's not there. Those defenses are serious. The only team that I can think of that might be able to right now might be able to give Georgia a run for their money outside of Michigan is that Oregon defense, man. That Oregon defense just – and if that Oregon defense holds Michael Penix to 21 points or under, I think they could play Georgia in the championship game and may be able to beat them. Because that defense is fast. I don't think people realize how fast they're sound, but they're also fast. Those dudes are.
If there's another defense that looks a lot like Georgia at the current moment, it is Oregon.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I mean, their defense.
I agree. People are talking about their corners. People are talking about their corners, but Memphis, they're only giving up 5 yards per attempt.
Right.
Like, all right.
Yep.
I know Texas Tech, but we'll see. All right, I kept you way too long. Thank God you were safe from zip lining. Don't do that, man. Don't do that again.
Zip lining, doing all kinds of stuff, man. We're living. We are living. We're living a little bit. I used to not take any breaks during the season, and now she's like, all right, let's take a break. I got this good deal, to go down to Mexico and zip line, and we're like, okay, we can zip line in Mexico.
No, I saw the picture of you. Y'all were both sitting there, and you were like, if you like pina coladas, I know you. I know you. You ain't got to play with me.
Hey, man, we're having a good time. A good time.
All right, buddy. Look, we've had a lot of people requesting for you to come back on the show. I love you. Tell everybody where they can catch all your stuff and everything you're doing.
Sports Radio America, you can catch me there Mondays and Thursdays, noon to 2 Eastern Standard Time. Hash it up with a lot of my brethren from the FWAA. Still a national voter. They still got me out here voting nationally.
Hey, man.
I don't know why, but they do.
We do these top 10 things every week on our national thing. It is not. It's not easy.
Not at all.
I got obliterated by people. I got obliterated for putting Bama at number 10 this week.
It's not. I mean, USC. USC game, because I've been behind USC and I keep looking at their defense like this defense is terrible.
Bro,
But Caleb lose.
Memphis, I kept USC out. I kept USC out the top 10 this week in our little comment thing or whatever on YouTube. Dude, I guess he's from LA. I don't know where he's from. He goes, brah. Like, what up?
Yeah.
Come on, brah.
Oh, yeah.
And with like long A's. And I'm like, oh, that dude just got done surfing. You know, like that dude's been surfing. That dude has the worst tan line of all time. Okay. You know what I mean? Like,
at least he doesn't wear Velcro hats.
Bro, come on. You know that there's Velcro. Bro, it's like this, though, Memphis. Like, hold on.
Velcro hats, man.
Look.
You can't.
It's like, but it's this big, though.
Oh, no.
On the back of the head.
Nope.
He's that grandpa that you see at the local diner with his grandson, and he's eating grits, and he's like, "Can y'all have any more butter?" That's Jimbo.
Woo,
and he's always wearing a camouflage jacket. You know the grandpa I'm talking about.
Oh, I know. There are a lot of them around here.
Yeah, you know how I know? You know how I know? My dad wears Velcro hats. I don't trust that man when it comes to crazy stuff.
Can't trust them Velcro hats, man. Can't do it. I'm gonna put that down now. You know, when I'm evaluating coaches, Velcro hat. Oh no, I got.
You know who never wears a Velcro hat? Now, but he'll wear a Velcro visor. This is different. Visors can be Velcro.
Okay.
Brian Kelly ain't never been seen no Velcro hat.
No. Visors. No, but not a Velcro
Visors
hat.
are okay. Visors are okay. He's trying to. The visor's a thing. We'll give him the visor. All right, Memphis. See ya very soon, my friend. Thank you so much. College football playoff poll in 3 weeks. Isn't that right? You go to all the press conferences, correct?
And the end of October.
Okay.
And I have an idea what they're going to do, but I'll save that for the next show.
LSU wins the next 2 games. They're putting them at 10. Mark it down.
I don't know. They're going to need a little bit more than 2 to get in there, but they may be in the conversation. Let's see what happens.
Teams are going to start separating themselves. USC is about to get a loss.
Absolutely.
Separation Saturday.
USC has a loss. If Ohio State stumbles, LSU starts looking good. Especially if Ohio State stumbles and then Penn State stumbles. There's going to be a lot of people are going to look around and say, you know, at undefeated, you can't touch them. At 1 loss, you put a 1-loss team against a 2-loss LSU. What do we have here? That's when you start asking the questions when folks have a loss. So and a 2-loss LSU team, especially with Jaden at the helm, that you got to start making some real considerations at that point.
See you, buddy. We'll see you soon.
Take care, my man.
All right, that's Memphis Spence. Let's talk about our good friend Steve Bean over at Bayou Daiquiris and Bayou Bowl to Go. Let's talk about our good friend Tyler one more time before we get out of here. We talked some week 7. We'll be back next. Bayou Daiquiris at Bayou Bowl and Go is owned and operated locally by Steve and Lisa Bean. You can find them at 1512 North Highway 190 in Covington, Louisiana. That's 1512 North Highway 190 in Covington. The North Shore's first crawfish drive-thru is about to step it up another notch by bringing you drive-thru daiquiris as well. You can call in your order today at 985-888-1914, 985-888-1914, because you know what? Daiquiris and crawfish, it's a Louisiana thing.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Tyler Alexander is a local realtor right here in the Denham Springs, Louisiana area, and he services the entire South Louisiana area as well. Tyler is ranked in the top 2% of EXP realtors in the entire state.
Buying or selling a home can be very stressful, but Tyler will make that process stress-free for you and your family and provide a customer experience for you, not just a customer service. Give him a call or text today on his personal cell, 225-955-0008. That's 225-955-0008, and let him get your home sold or transition you into a new one. So we talked about it with Memphis Spence, so I'm not going to spend too terribly long on this. UCLA, number 18, faces off against number 15, Oregon State. The Pac-12 doesn't have a choice, in my opinion, to some extent within the next couple of weeks to cannibalize themselves. One loss UCLA, one loss Oregon State. It's in Corvallis. If I were a betting man, what? All right, come on. Come on. You want to? All right, come on. All right, trying to get to. All right, come on, very quickly. Very quickly. Daddy's talking.
Okay.
Tell him what's up.
What's up?
What's up? Hey, what did you do today?
I played some
Where'd you go today? Did you go to the firehouse?
Yeah.
What did you learn?
There's a fire. It means don't panic.
That's right. If there's a fire, don't panic. All right, you want to help me with these picks right quick?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got UCLA and Oregon State. Who are you taking?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Okay. Does that mean you're going with Oregon State?
Yeah.
Okay. USC and Notre Dame. The religion versus the hippies out in California. Where are you going? You going? Where are you going?
To Spider-Man's house.
It's this Spider-Man's house? Okay. So you're picking the home team, which would be Notre Dame then, correct?
Correct.
All right. So you're going with the Fighting Irish out in South Bend. Is that right? Okay. LSU and Auburn. You know where you
Yeah.
You going with LSU over Auburn. I love the pick here, my man. Interesting game here, Ben. The black team, the black and gold team we saw last week, goes against the blue team. Which team do you think wins this one out of Missouri and Kentucky? The black team or the blue team?
Blue team.
The blue team?
Yeah.
You think Kentucky is going to hold off the Tigers of Missouri?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll stay with that one. Hey, a little redemption game here, Ben. A&M and Tennessee face off this week. You need to sit better? Oh, you got one more pick. You got one more pick. Tennessee or A&M? Pick. All right. Hey, thank you. All right. There's your picks. Peace.